Pack your bags, girl, let's get out of Dodge. Sick of living life, sick of counting scars. We the ones who go to war against the gods. We the shadows that move around in the dark. Take your life back, take your time, look and welcome to the tribe. Check the rhyme, look at I was doing bad, couldn't find. Look at now my phone ringing all the time. Look at we the only ones, holy sons. Mama's dead, kids holding guns. Catch 'em early, put that poison in they bodies with a Donald Trump. Walking around with the zombies. I know my home team got me.
Yes, what is going on Facebook? I got you guys hanging out with me right here. Instagram, getting the behind the scenes view. If you want to see behind the scenes a little bit more, head over to J Ben Hartley on Instagram. Instagram, meanwhile, if you want to see the actual like pro setup, the like legit studio look, then Instagram, go over to Facebook. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Season 2, Episode 6 of SF Live. I make these live videos for a couple of reasons. One is I like having a dialogue. So take this opportunity. We're going to do Q&A. I've got some stuff that I want to riff. I've got some ideas. I just want to kind of like get out there, express them. But ultimately, anytime I'm live, the main value of going live is the fact that I get to talk to you guys. Like so often you're listening to the podcast, you're reading an email from me, or you're waiting for the next conference or workshop to happen before you get to have some sort of like that one-to-one dialogue. And why wait? Why wait? And so take this opportunity, ask a question. I'm opening up the door. Ask any damn question you want. And if I don't want to answer it, I'll just straight up tell you. But I would love to. I would love to riff and do a little Q&A with you guys. So look, first things first, before we get to some of the Q&A, as questions start to come through, I got Michael holding down the Instagram for it, so he's going to read them off to me. Instagram, I can see your comments coming through over on my end. And on that note too, throw some thumbs up, some hearts. You know, if this is your first time watching, let me know that it's your first time watching. I would love to know, Facebook, if that's true for you. Now, here we go. Let's talk a couple things before we jump into some of the Q&A. For starters, yes, United. This is my United hoodie here. United just reopened up tickets. So they already had sold over half the tickets at the last conference. United, it's called Show It United. It's a conference. It's a photography conference. It happens once a year. This year it's happening in November. I got to get the specific dates up. But today is the day that they're opening up tickets. I've gone the last 3 years, and I promise you I'm going to go every single year. We're going to take the whole Style and Story team. So all the photographers from Style and Story are going this year. Super jazzed about it. I'm going to be keynoting there. I'm going to be leading a style shoot there as well. But that's actually not why I want you guys to go. Like, even if I wasn't doing any of that, I would still be making this video, encouraging you guys to go to United. Not only am I wearing the hoodie, I also doubled down, and I'm also wearing a United t-shirt. I'm doubled down on this thing. The reason why I can say that for me it stood out apart from all the others is because at the end of the day, it's people. At the end of the day, people are what matter. Gaining in your understanding of people, relationships, empathy is going to be the thing that's going to move your business. United has a grasp on that. It's a aspect, it's a niche of the photography community that like when I go to, I get so, like, I'm so filled with life. I think as photographers, I was just on the podcast talking about this. As photographers, we're just always pouring out. We're always like pouring out into our artwork, and putting ourselves out there and giving to our leads and to our clients. And sometimes you just need someone to pour back into you. And that doesn't always happen at a photography workshop. It doesn't always happen at a photography conference. Sometimes it just feels like there's a pressure to be something that you're not. Sometimes you walk away being like, why did I spend all this money on this thing? And I've never left feeling that way with United. United it's a conference that puts people first. Candidly, it puts people before photography. And that's why I'm going. That's why I'm so honored to be keynoting. That's why I'm so stoked about that opportunity. And I really want you guys to be there so we can hang out. We can go get a drink together. We can chill by the lazy pool. It's in Arizona. It's at this amazing resort. So go, be there, United. I'll get a link down below because I promise you this, it will sell out. Just so you know, it will sell out. All right, so we're gonna hop over to some Q&A here in a minute. But I just want to. I went to a really cool concert this week. I went to AJR. Right? Are you guys familiar with AJR? Throw some thumbs up, some likes, some hearts for AJR if you're familiar with AJR. But they've got this. I titled this episode "I'm Not Famous." I'm going to take down this title here. I'm Not Famous. They have this song. It's called I'm Not Famous. And it's literally about them not being famous. And it's one of those things that it made me think and it made me realize, and I want to encourage you with this. I find this thought really refreshing. I find this thought really encouraging. I look at myself right now. I look at what we've built with Style and Story, what we've built with Six Figure Photography, with the podcast and these live videos and the community that we have here with you guys. And at the same time, I know that if it disappeared tomorrow, no one's going to care. And I say no one's going to care. And I know there's people out there who will care. It's not about that. But it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Even the fact that you guys don't even know who AJR is, some of you, and they're some huge band, or even the guy who opened up for him, Maxwell's Kitchen. It's 1 million followers. He's blowing up 1 million views on YouTube, 1 million views on YouTube. And I come home from the concert and I'm telling Leslie all about him. She knows who he is. And she's I don't know who that is. No, but it doesn't matter. And this is refreshing because for me, it puts things in perspective. Do you know who will care? Your husband, your wife, your kids, your parents, the people who are closest. That's what matters. When you step back and look at this whole thing, if your goal is to be an educator or to be someone who's a big shot who wins the awards as a photographer, I get it and that's great and it's cool. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Not even the most famous damn photographer. I talk about Zach and Jody. I talk about Jerry Gahonis. I talk about these people. The most famous photographers they mean nothing to 99% of the population who are not within that niche. And this may be a depressing thought to you, but I want to encourage you with this. I want you to take this thought and I want you to do what you're you treat this as an opportunity to do what you want to do in life. Treat this as an opportunity to gain perspective on what actually matters, who actually matters, right? And what choices that you make in life affect that. You have the opportunity to design the life that you want. And my encouragement is that you just really think long and hard about what is that and what actually matters. I'm overjoyed at the fact that if I stopped doing what I do and I chose to completely switch gears and do something else, then hell yeah, I'm going to kick ass at that too. And it's going to be a lot of fun along the way. I think we get too caught up in the idea of what we need to be for other people. Who I need to be for other people, who you need to be for other people, who you need to be as a photographer for the photography community, who you need to be for your clients, for your leads, who you need to be for your parents, for your mom and dad. I don't know. At the end of the day, you get to be exactly who you want to be. And I find that so refreshing. I find it so refreshing. I could disappear tomorrow. And you know what? Who knows? Someday, maybe everything will switch gears and I will. And I think it makes me feel so good. It does. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good about a couple more things too. When the haters come and the bullshit comments come on YouTube and this stuff, it doesn't matter. It's so relieving. You guys, I encourage you to make live videos, to put yourself out there, to produce content. And when the BS comes and people leave their stupid comments and they got something negative to say, it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. You're not famous. I don't know. I think it's really awesome. And it's a perspective on life that allows me to show up for you guys. I want you to know that. It allows me to show up for you guys because I do it for me. You need to understand this. When I make these live videos and I step out here and I try to produce a podcast, put myself in front of the screen, I'm doing it because I really want to do it for me. And so, did the negative emails come? Did the haters come? Yeah, but none of it matters. Because I get it. I get that the highest highs don't matter, but also the lowest lows don't matter, right? It doesn't matter if I'm on Creative Live again next year. It doesn't matter if I sell out, if I'm keynote at WPPI or whatever it may be. It really doesn't matter. Because the next year, if I'm gone, no one's going to go, where's Ben Hartley? And if they do, they're going to go, where's Ben Hartley? I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. Cool. You want to get Subway? I think it's actually really exciting. It is. It's really exciting. It makes me want to be a better dad. It makes me want to spend more time with my kids, love them better, focus on my team more, focus on Style and Story more, focus on this guy right here, Michael more, who's hanging out. And then everything else is just fun. Everything else is bonus. So I hope you guys are encouraged by this fact. I really do. Let's get to some Q&A. Here. Let's see what we got. Michael, do we got any Q&A going on Insta? Otherwise, I'm going to address some Facebook comments that we got here.
We have a question from Chad de Blasio Photo. Who does your hair?
Good, Chad.
And a more serious question from Alicia at Meraki Portraits. How do you make your images pop? Sometimes I feel mine are a little flat.
Yeah, so for starters, Chad, who does my hair? Clearly nobody does my hair, Chad. Like, I wake up like this and I just like go. Like, Leslie's been telling me, Ben, you really need someone to like consult you on your, nope, no one. Okay, so Alicia asked, how do you get photographs that pop? What's the exact question?
Yeah, how do you get your image to pop?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, how you get your image to pop, even the way that you described how do you get your image to pop, all I think about is editing. Like, I think like so much is in editing. You know, it's really refreshing. Our team, Stephen Loeb and Adams, they went out and they spent a week with Two Man Studio, Laney and Erica Mann, and the incredible photographers, probably like the best wedding photographers in the world. You know, one person's perspective, actually a lot of people's perspective, a lot of people's opinions. It's not an objective thing, but we view them as that. And it's so refreshing to see the editing that actually goes into some of the work, like the reality of what you can do in post. It's not to be lazy on the upfront side of things. It's not to be lazy in your intentionality, taking that decisive moment, choosing your lens, choosing your camera settings, but also knowing that there's a taste. Like there's an aesthetic taste that goes into knowing like the appropriate amount of contrast, color, vibrance, saturation, tone, hue, and so, you know, for us, we've developed our own preset that like it's our baked in, like we know when we do this, it's going to give our images the right pop that we want, the right contrast. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that question is like a never ending question of like what lens, like, cause every lens is going to have a different contrast profile. Every lens is going to have a different score, depending on even what lens, what camera you put that lens on. I don't know. Look, if at the end of the day you want to take the perfect photograph, then make sure you carry a tripod with you wherever you go. Shoot with, you know, a 7200 at f/16, like at ISO 100, at perfect sunlight, like carry strobes with you. Make sure that you don't actually even press the shutter. You get a wireless remote, so there's no camera. Like, there's a certain point where like the idea of like a photograph that pops, that's clear, that's clean, that's crisp, that's sharp. People have to talk all the time about how do we get a sharp picture. Like, I guess that's how you do it, but I find that really uninteresting. Okay, let's keep going. Angela says, create overlay. Some of these, I wonder what's at Facebook. I'm getting some syncing issues here. It looks like it's not showing some of their profile names here. So, oh well. Angela says this, did you hire a story brand coach? I did not hire a story brand coach, Angela. I think it'd be really exciting to. I have not. I just have like a personal coach that I work with one-on-one, but I have not hired a StoryBrand coach. I think it'd be awesome. If you haven't checked out StoryBrand, download StoryBrand, go do that. Jeffrey says this, how are the Fujis treating you? Any interest in the X-H1? So we are shooting on the Fuji X-T2. They're treating us well, Jeffrey. There's definitely limitations with shooting on the X-T2 that we sought out. You know, a lot of people switch cameras in order to get better everything. And I think for us, in order to get better, we need to put certain limitations on us. There are better technical cameras that'll give you a better focusing accuracy, better focus speed, better ISO performance, better low light performance, better dynamic range. And so that's not why you switch to Fuji. You switch to Fuji for other reasons. But we like them. We're considering, we're going to probably hold off on the XH1s, the new one. We're going to wait for the XT3, or we're just going to go mess around with some Sony stuff. Who knows? By the way, Michael, feel free to step in and say things. Brittany, it's good to see you. Thanks for saying hi, girl.
I have two really great questions from Instagram.
Yeah, let's hear it. Questions from Instagram.
Jay Miller Photo says, Ben, how's your stunning family? Do you struggle to take pro photos of your own family?
Yes. So the question came from Jane?
Jane Miller.
Jane Miller. And she asked, do I struggle to take photos
of your own family?
Yeah, great question, Jane. I do struggle to take professional photographs of my family, and I guess maybe relative to the general population, maybe it's not. You know what I mean? But like when it feels like if I'm not doing a photo shoot every year, it feels like I'm struggling. Do you know what I mean? And so yes, I do. We still need to get now. We have 3 kids, and so we need to get a nice like big family portrait session taken. I think one of the advice that I had to give for this is, you know, it's like when you're a mechanic, you want to do all your own mechanic work. I get that. when you're a teacher, like maybe part of you wants to homeschool your kids. I get that. When you're a photographer, part of you feels like I don't want to go hire a photographer. I don't want to I'll go do it myself. But I want to actually encourage you guys to actually work with a photographer, like to hire someone. And actually pay them. There's value in a trade of service, but at least once in your life, to go through the process of pulling out your wallet and paying money for the same thing that you are charging your clients to do, right? It's really hard to buy in on something, to fully believe in it, to be completely sold on something that you haven't yourself bought. And when you go through that process, when you sit down with a client, you've actually experienced exactly what they're going through. You know what they're going through, and you also know the joy in the other end of it. And you get to talk about that. And it really will change actually your sales process. That's like a side note. But I think we need to get that scheduled. I need to talk to Rachel Jacobus, Little Roo Studios. I need to reach back out to her. She does all of our family work and get something scheduled. I want to do like a lifestyle shoot with the boys. I think that'd be really cool. Plus, it's also just realistic with like 3 kids, 2 1-year-olds. I think lifestyle is all we're going to get. We're just going to like change some diapers on camera. And I think it'd be great. What's the other question, Michael?
Chad DeBlasio, this one's a long one.
Okay. Chad, good to see you, man, for starters. Chad DeBlasio is on Instagram. Michael's going to read this one off.
When you looked to expand the studio and staff,
Mm-hmm.
did you wait until bookings and business were demanding the extra, or did you add the extra knowing that the business was out there and needed people to fulfill your vision?
Yeah. So Chad asked a question about expanding the business, growing, right? So when you for most photographers, you're like an individual, you're a solopreneur, maybe you're a husband and wife team. There's 2 of you, but it's really like one entity. And the idea of growing, expanding your business to bring on somebody else to work with, to bring on more team members to photograph weddings with. Essentially, he kind of asked the question of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, do you bring on people first, and then with the hope of turning it up, like essentially cranking up the marketing, cranking up the the demand on, or do you wait for that demand to come in? Like, you got to be practical with this. There's maybe a little bit of both to it, but by far and large, the first answer is this: like, do not even consider bringing on another person unless you're turning away, at least half of your leads because you're already booked. And when I say at least half, that's like bare minimum. Like bare minimum. I mean, you have got to have so many leads pouring through the door that you can't service them all before you really ever consider bringing on anybody else. But then nevertheless, even if that's true, even if you have, let's say you're shooting 20 weddings a year and you've got 700 people inquiring with you every year, and you're like, let's bring in some more people to help serve more brides. Even if that's true, you better be figuring out ways to keep turning it up, because it's going to change. It's going to change, and you're going to get hit, and something's going to happen, and that 700 leads that you got is going to change because the algorithm changed on the organic SEO that you were banking on, and now you're getting 100. It's going to change because Instagram moves something, and now you're not getting leads. It's going to change because Facebook ads changed, and the whole Facebook ad tactic that you used got thrown out the window because the government changed the way that Instagram runs things. I don't know. So it's like a yes and, but by all means, you should not even consider to expand your business unless you are completely kicking ass and you have so many leads coming through the door, and you've got systems and it's polished. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hop over here and pop into a couple over here. I love this. By the way, back to my initial thing, Angela, thank you for that. Yes, it's freeing to not take yourself so seriously. Like, let's just go back to this for a hot second. Angela, thank you so much for your encouragement. Can I just say that specifically to you, Angela? You've been such a supporter of me, and not just me, but I also, just so you guys know, I like pop in on you guys. Like, the people who are like regulars here, like, I take a look, I see what you're up to. You're not just a supporter of me, Angela. Like, I love seeing how much you support and you give back to the people in your world, to your friends, your family, to your community, to your work. Like, I see you. Like, I see you, girl, and it's awesome. But you're right. Too many people take themselves too seriously, and you're too scared to go live. You're too scared to look at a camera. You're too scared to pick up the phone and make a phone call. You're too scared to look someone in the eyes and ask, like, what does this mean to you? How does this make you feel? You're too scared to look at someone and say, how can I help you today? Like, I don't know. There's something really freeing knowing that it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, and yet it does. It does when you actually show up. It show like I was talking to my coach about like this tapestry. Let's kick religion out the door here, but let's just go spiritual. Like this tapestry that we have as people. Like we're all here on this earth. We're all being interwoven together in some way. It's like the butterfly effect. Like we all affect one another in some way. And the only thing that is kind of exciting is the opportunity that you have, the opportunity that you are called into in this life to show up. I think maybe that's it. I think maybe in life you're just called to show up at some time. You're called to show up because when you show up and you ask somebody how their day was, when you show up and you smile at somebody, when you show up with positivity and joy, like the ripple effect in that tapestry of what that can do for somebody else, right? Then it's pretty cool. But at the end of the day, to not take yourself too seriously, I think people just, they hold themselves back because they think something actually matters that doesn't matter. No one gives a fuck. They don't. Okay. So let's keep going. Dave Harris says this. I've been wondering where you went, Ben. Dave, I've been busy, my man. It's good to see you, Dave. Steven says this. Question from Steven. Hey, Ben, hope this message finds you well. Question. How do I mentor other photographers without creating a competition for myself? I love helping people, but where do I draw the line? Steven, you don't draw the line. The line that you just drew is a self-limiting belief. That's a scarcity mindset. You currently believe that if somebody else wins, Stephen, that it's keeping you from winning. If somebody else gets a client, that means you lose a client, and that's bullshit. It's just not real, man. Like, it's a scarcity mindset, and you won't win. You won't win if you're always scared about somebody else winning better than you. You need to celebrate every single person's win. The only way that you're going to be successful as a coach, like to coach somebody else, is to celebrate their win. And to know that just because they won doesn't mean you lose, bro. You know this, man. You know this. Celebrate that. Push people forward. Elevate other people. And a really cool thing happens. Like, you'll end up winning. Like, your income is in direct correlation to how well you serve your leads. Let's just rewind and cut away leads. Your income is in direct correlation to how well you serve other people. How well you serve your competition. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, put people first and elevate everybody. And don't live your life with a scarcity mindset, a self-limiting belief that says, if I let them win, if I show them how to win, that I'm going to lose. You won't. I know you, dude. You won't. You're going to keep changing. You're going to keep evolving. You're going to keep pushing the needle. You're going to keep pushing the barriers. So it's a good question, man. It's one that I've had to deal with too. Like we do a workshop here in Columbus, Ohio, and we had to ask ourselves, do we want photographers coming from our backyard? Do we want to not let photographers come from Columbus, Ohio to our 4-day workshop? We're going to show them how to completely dominate their market. And I had to walk the walk and say, yes, we're going to let people from Columbus, I'm going to let people from my back door, I'm going to let people come from down the street to my workshop, and I'm going to show them how we do what we do because I want to see them win. And it's like a conviction thing. I absolutely believe that. I want to see them win. And I'll be okay. This goes one step further, man. We've got a team here. Michael's right here, head photographer here at Style and Story. If Michael decided this year to leave and start his own, like to take everything that he's gained from Style and Story, whatever it is that he's learned from us, right? I don't want like whatever it may be, editing, marketing, whatever it is, and he decided to go and leave and do his own thing, I would support him. I'd ask, how can I help you? Would I be a little pissed off? Would I be a little bummed? Yeah, of course I'd be bummed. But I would also believe the best that if that was his choice, it's because that's what he needed to do for his family. It's because he loves his wife and he loves his little boy and he's looking out for them and he understands that that's his best move in life. What am I going to do to stop him? Why not celebrate that shit and like help and push him forward, right? I'm not going to sign a non-disclosure agreement that says you can't use your shit. You can't take anything and photograph weddings here in Ohio for the next year. Like, no, because I believe that people are always more important because people trump photography, because people trump business. And maybe that is naive, but I would much rather live my life with joy and with gratitude and with celebrating others than live my life in fear and with hoarding. And it says like, I got to protect myself first. I got to protect myself first. I think when you live your life trying to protect yourself first, then everything else starts to strip away and you start losing everything that you're trying to hold on to so dearly. I'd much rather send him off and say, go and do, man. I'm really bummed you're leaving. I'm kind of pissed at you, but I get it and I support you. Good question, Stephen. We're going to do 2 more questions, and then we're going to bust because I've sworn far too much in this episode. I apologize. I got fired up. I get fired up, and then it comes out. It is what it is. All right. Oh man, there's so many good questions here. Oh my gosh, dude. Steven, great comment. Hug me, brother. Steven, I really appreciate you, Steven. You're a good dude. All right. Let's see here. Oh, dude. Jennifer Post says this. Man, this is a long one. I'm going to put it on blast, and then I'm going to read it. Jennifer says this. Hi, Ben. How do you deal with friends who expect you to take photographs of them for free? I have a problem with a few friends whom I photograph for free whom I photographed for free when I was starting out in exchange for being able to use their images as I chose, right? You are building your portfolio. I get that. I did this too, right? Like, hey, I'd love to photograph you and your family. You get to use the images for free. You get to use the images in your portfolio. They got great work. It's an exchange. I understand. But now they still expect free photos every time they need to update images of them and their family. And in some ways, I feel as though they're taking advantage. Should I continue to photograph them for free, or is there a kind way to explain that I cannot keep providing services for free? Look, the only one who's like, they're not taking advantage of you. Like you're like allowing it. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's easy to say no, actually. I think to believe the best in people, that to believe the best, like right now, the fear that you have is this: if I say no to them, they're going to be mad at me and it's going to sever something in the relationship. Could something else be true? I think that something else could also be true. I think there's a belief that you have in your mind right now is just because you said one thing once and things change that you can't change. I think that you need to, like, this is a self-value question, right? This is you not valuing yourself, not valuing your time, not valuing your artwork enough to say no. And not to say no out of bitterness, not to say no because you're a jerk, but to say no because you value what you do. I don't know if you have a family, Jennifer, but you value your family. Like, you value providing for them. And there's a reality where, this is your career, this is your business, and you would love to keep serving them, but you can't do it in the same way. And to say no, like, I can't do it. And maybe it's you not waiting for them to ask. Maybe it's you actually handling the objection before it even comes at your door. So rather than you waiting and hoping they don't ask you, because right now, this is you right now. You're just hoping, God, I hope these people don't ask me to take their pictures again because I'm going to have to say yes. First off, you don't. But you're hoping they don't ask you. Instead of just waiting and hoping and dreading, like, reach out and connect and call them, right? And so you'd still love to do it. But, like, the reality is this: you have to provide for your family. And this is what it would look like to do it for a cost next time. So I feel for you, Jennifer. This is the biggest problem that I think photographers have. One of the biggest problems is we start off because we need to build a portfolio working for free, working for a lower dollar amount. And I think it's appropriate. I think it makes sense. You can't expect to start shooting weddings for $10K a wedding. It's just that doesn't make sense. But because of fear that people will dislike you, because of fear that you will be rejected, because of fear that someone will say no or be offended or hurt by you, that you never grow and you never change your pricing and you stay in your safe zone, right? You stay in your safe zone. Like, success is rarely comfortable. Okay? If you want to keep safe, then don't say anything. But I don't think you want that. Thanks for asking, Jennifer. I really appreciate you. All right, cool. Let's talk to this last one, you guys. I'll do one more on Facebook and one more on Instagram. Okay. Thank you guys again for bringing these questions. I'm going to pop in the comments and see if I can get some more answers to you guys. So Rich says this: photography seems to be an oversaturated market where I live, especially with weddings. There seems to be a lot of groups where people help each other out, but the industry here sort of seems like a social group. Do you find it super important to network and work together with other local photographers? Do you have any advice when living in a somewhat secluded city where there's a lot of people trying to get the jobs? Let's first address something. We're not special. We're not unique. Our industry isn't unique. Our industry isn't oversaturated. Every industry is oversaturated. And that's because, well, my phone's right there. That's because of this. It's because everything's interconnected. We live in, like, the barrier to entry is lower and lower and lower. If I wanted to be a carpenter, I could start a carpenter shop tomorrow. And would I suck? Yes, I would suck. But I could YouTube how to get better, and I would practice, and I'd put in the work, and I'd get better. And suddenly now I'm a damn good carpenter. Like, just the reality is every market is rich and saturated. It's not just weddings. Okay. So I think that's me. And it's helpful to understand that, because I think sometimes we like to think of ourselves as special and unique and like, we've got it so bad. Oh, us photographers, our life is harder. And it's not. It's actually, you go to be a chiropractor and it's going to be the same thing. Right. And so for starters, I think just change your shift on your mindset a little bit, because everybody's got it. Everyone's got it. There seems to be a lot of photography groups where you're at, and in more of a social group. Do you find it important to network and work together with local photographers? Yes and no. So yes, I do, and no, I don't. What I mean is this: like some of these groups, become more of a gossip conversation. It becomes more about talking about the terrible experience you had with such and such client. It tends to be about, can I tell you about this bride who demanded this of me and how it made me feel? Can we talk more about so-and-so's work and how bad their website is? Can we talk about, did you see that so-and-so just got divorced? And it just candidly, I don't have time for that bullshit. I don't know what else to say. I just keep my head down and we put in the work, and we try to I'm so protective of my circle. I'm so protective of the people that I surround myself with, because I know that the people that I surround myself with will in turn affect my children. I'm thinking like that. I'm thinking that when I come home from work, I'm not going to I don't want to allow your bullshit to affect me to the point that I come home, I'm a jerk, or I'm negative, or I'm whatever it is. I'm just so protective of that. And so I am involved in my local community, but I'm involved in one-to-one ways. I am picking and choosing. If you're a great person, there's through Brett Loves Elle, amazing wedding photographers in Columbus, Ohio. Go check out Brett Loves Elle. This couple, I just love being around them. Every time I leave my conversation with them, I feel like I'm a little bit more full. I feel like my heart's a little bit more full. I feel like I want to go love people better. I feel like I want to go be a better husband. That's who I'm around. But when I log into usually a Facebook group and it's just bitching and whining, nah, I'm out. I'm gonna keep my head down, and I'm gonna put in the work, and I'm gonna move the needle. So that's what it comes down to. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's a pick and choose. I don't think there's a universal answer for this. Your community may be more one way than the other. But I don't want to, and I also, I don't want to be daft, I know how susceptible I am to easily step into that circle and to contribute the same BS. Just to be clear, I don't think that I'm something above them. I know myself, and I know that if I step into that, I'll feed right into it too. And I'll start sharing stories, and I'll start talking negative, and I'll start gossiping this and that. And I just don't want that for myself. And I know myself well enough that I'll do it. I'm broken, I'm messed up, I'm fallen, and I don't want to be that way. At least I'm trying to look out for myself, right? So it's not Rich, it's not going to I don't think it's a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker. It's not going to be the deal breaker that's going to allow you to win or lose. One last question, Instagram, Michael. Thank you, Rich.
Envy Photographics.
Okay.
Wants to know when the workshop is.
Envy Photographics. Thanks for asking. I really appreciate it. So we do one workshop a year currently. It's called Abundance, Maximizing Joy, Meaning, and Profits. And I really that's the order intentionally. It's abundance, maximizing joy first, meaning second. Oh, and by the way, profits. And it's a 4-day workshop it's really intense. It's we start at 9 a.m. and we go to about midnight for 4 days and turn your business completely upside down, and you'll leave different. I don't know what else to say. We've done it for 3 years. We saw it every year. And in the first year we did it, I was like, wow, that was powerful. That was cool. Second year we did it, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is we're on to something here. By the third year we did that, I'm like, this is just straight up changing lives. I don't know what to say. It just is. I know that sounds like what's the word? Extreme. What's the word for extreme? Exaggerated. Exaggerated. But it does. So it's called Abundance, Maximizing Joy, Meaning, Profits. I'll get a link. There's a wait list for it. So sixfigurephotography.com/abundance. But I'll get a link down below. You guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for asking questions. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry that if I wasn't able to get to every question. I know I wasn't. But I'm going to keep making these videos. I'm going to keep showing up and doing more Q&A. And so if I didn't get to your question today, make sure that you like and subscribe, that you go into to Facebook and you make sure you get notifications first. That way when I do another Q&A, you can get in here Instagram follow. I'm sure you're already following me if you're watching this live. But I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. We'll see you next time.